Coach, your team battled to get within 5 in the fourth quarter against a great team, but I know the goal was to advance. So what do you tell your team in the locker room after that?
I told them don't let anyone define what we did this year based on not getting one step further than last year. We said at the end of last year that the bar's been raised, the standard's been raised, the expectations have been raised, and I think they have lived up to that in every single way except one final step of getting one step further, which sometimes can come down to a lot of different factors. I think we showed today what kind of team we've become. Obviously under hard circumstances. It was 7 days ago that we lost the potential National Player of the Year, and this team rallied and I think showed how much of a team we've become and what their character is all about.
The growth that you saw from some of your younger players, where does that set the foundation for you for next year?
Yeah, I don't think anyone looks back. We've got an incredible young core that will be coming back. Obviously things always look a little bit different with people graduating. Obviously, the circumstances with when Juju comes back is a bit up in the air. But I think we will attack this with the standards that we've now set and with the goals that we've now set, and we'll figure out a way, with the people that we have, to raise the bar again, and that's the only option.
Wisconsin will officially introduce new women's head coach Robin Pingeton during a press conference at 4 Eastern Wednesday afternoon, which you can see right here on the Big Ten Network. Of course, in coaching and in TV, to be honest, always nice to get ahead of things, and we do exactly that right now. Welcome in Coach Pingeton for today's big interview. Coach, first and foremost, congratulations. We appreciate the time, and welcome to the Big Ten.
Thank you very much. I'm blessed to be here and pretty fired up.
Coach, let's start with the most simple question that I could ask. Why this job at this time for you?
That's a great question. I've had a lot of people ask me that, but it's interesting. I grew up in the Midwest, and so have always been very familiar with Wisconsin. In my coaching days at Illinois State, I've always really looked at this from afar and thought, man, that would be an amazing job. And I know, a lot of the previous coaches here, Jane Albright had a lot of success. Lisa Stone had a lot of success. And I always felt like it was a place that you could do something really special at. And it's just God works in mysterious ways. And this opportunity opened up for me. And it's a beautiful campus, beautiful facilities. But I always say the people make the place. And I've been blown away with just the vision, the heart posture, and the opportunity to do something I'm really passionate about at one of the best conferences in the country.
Robin, let me follow up on that and that particular word, vision. What is the vision for this program for both you and AD Chris McIntosh?
We want to compete for championships, just like everybody at this level, right? Everybody wants to be a contender and be playing in March. And I think just with the changing climate in college athletics and the portal and revenue share, and there's a lot of opportunities to turn a roster pretty quickly. And, that's what our focus is. Absolutely. Winning and losing matters. We want to compete at a really high level. And at the same time, I want to have a positive impact on my student athletes' lives and prepare them to be successful in life.
Coach, the reality of the portal is that anytime there's a coaching change, players are going to look to move to other programs. So how do you approach the portal right now in this immediate moment and in the near future, both in trying to retain the players that you want to keep in Madison, but also in recruiting players from other programs that you'd like to join yours?
Yeah, it's definitely a changing climate in college athletics. And, regardless if there's coaching changes or not, it seems like there's been a lot of movement the last couple of years in the portal. And I just think that balance is really important. You want players that want to be here that, just align with your vision and your style of play. So we've been hitting it pretty hard. Phone's been pretty hot lately and a lot of positive momentum. But at the same time, you want to make sure you build those relationships with your current players, your current roster, and recruit high school student athletes, with the vision of them being here for 4 years and really building something special. And so I think there's a nice blend of the two and some great opportunities out there.
With that in mind, and of course, the ever-changing and evolving recruiting calendar, both with transfers and with traditional recruits, what's the calendar look like for you and your staff over the next couple of weeks and months?
Yeah, early mornings, late nights, but We're really fired up. It's been a lot of fun. Like I said, just feel really blessed to be at such a great university and so much support and excitement about what's to come. And the phone's been really good. I think there's a lot of energy there, a lot of momentum. It's not going to stop. The next couple of weeks are going to continue to stay busy. And after that, you kind of shift gears a little bit and you go to high school recruiting. And, every coach wants to lock down the borders of their state. And that's something that's going to be really important to us, as well as reaching out to the bordering states.
Coach, for those who maybe are not familiar with the programs that you've coached in the past, what's the best way to describe your coaching style and the style that your team is playing when it is playing the way that you want it to?
Yeah, I think you've got to be able to adapt to the players that you have for sure. But we're going to recruit players that are really passionate about the game, that absolutely love basketball, that want to come in and work at their craft much more than what's required in regards to time limits, and people that want to be in the gym, players that have a passion for the game, an incredible work ethic, and then they've got to just fit the culture in our locker room. We want to be a really unselfish team. We want to have a one mind, one goal, and just like-minded in our vision for what we want to accomplish. And so, you don't want to settle. I think just being really transparent, really authentic, genuine in building relationships. And there's a lot of different programs out there, and you just want to make sure you get the players that really align with you and fit your system.
How do you, Robin, manage expectations when you're obviously shooting for the highest attainable goal, but you also need to remain realistic, especially at the beginning when you step into a league that just sent 12 teams to this year's NCAA tournament?
Yeah, just a fantastic league. So much respect for the coaches in this league, as well as the student athletes. Just so much talent here in the Big Ten. And, we know it's a really tough conference. I've been a part of the SEC for the last 15 years, so I think it's really prepped and prepared me for this opportunity that's in front of me. But I can tell you this, no one's going to have higher expectations for this program than I am.
Robin, it's interesting because you've done this for a long time, obviously, and your formula has worked at different places. I'm curious as to whether you look at other recent hires in this league, names like Robin Freilich and Shauna Green, who took over programs that had had previous success but were struggling a little when they stepped in, and now they're having success and have their teams back at the NCAA tournament. Did you try to emulate any of that, or do you just kind of stick with what's been tried and true for you through your career?
Well, first of all, don't age me like that. You say I've been doing it for a long time, and I have. But I think every situation is unique to itself. And, there's a lot of great coaches in this Big Ten, like I had mentioned. And, I think I want to be a lifelong learner. And so you evaluate, you just watch. I think the toughest thing about this job is going to be able to learn coaches' styles and, just the adjustments that they make throughout the course of the game. What do they do after timeouts? It's a lot of different teams that we're going to have to learn and understand their coaching. The way they coach from game to game. But, I think for me, it's just staying true to who we are. I'm a Midwesterner, really blue collar, hardworking, passionate about what I do. Relationships are really, really important to me in building it and doing things the right way. And so I think there's a lot of momentum here. I think there's a lot of energy. There's been a lot of really successful sports here at Wisconsin. I think there's a great following for women's athletics. And, we're going to need everybody. It's going to take a village, and we're going to reach out. We're going to knock on a lot of doors. We're going to make a lot of calls and invite them to be a part of our family and a part of our journey.
And, Coach, just to be clear, not trying to age you at all, we're of a similar vintage, and I've been doing this for a long time as well. And trust me, my kids remind me all the time.
Yes, I understand that. It's, but that's one of the great things about college athletics, being around student athletes day in and day out. They really do keep you young.
All right, Coach, let's finish here. We've reached the Final Four stage for women's college basketball this weekend with one Big Ten representative, UCLA, down in Tampa. Any predictions on what you expect to see this weekend from the Final Four?
I tell you what, there's been some incredible games. I haven't been able to watch as much as I would like because I've been on the phone and on Zoom calls, as you can imagine. But the games that I've caught on both the men's and women's sides, just some incredible games, great coaches, incredible student athletes. It's just a great time for women's basketball around the country, and I'm not predicting.
That is a fair answer and probably a very smart and diplomatic answer in your first Big Ten Network interview. New Wisconsin head coach Robin Pingeton. Coach, great to catch up, to meet you for the very first time. Look forward to doing this a lot more often in the future.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much.